So it's 8 o'clock, and this is the last Saturday when we've got 2 sessions. Good morning, Lyndall. From next Saturday, we'll just be doing the 8 o'clock session. I'm getting I'm getting quite busy now, so I'm just needing a little bit more space for other things. But I hope that's okay. But today we've got 2 sessions. We've got 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, and at 9 o'clock we'll be doing mindfulness of breathing. And we're starting this morning with a body scan, body awareness meditation. Morning, Tracy. So I guess most of you know what this is. It's not exactly a traditional meditation, but it is very, very useful. And it's very useful because we, as I keep saying, we spend so much of our lives in our heads. And when we come down into our bodies, when we try and move our awareness away from our mind, away from our constant thinking, and into our body, we find a different world. We find a magical world. And in Buddhist terms, the mind is actually in the body. When you'll see Buddhists go like this, and what they're doing is they're saying body, speech, and mind. And mind is here. Mind is somewhere here in the center of the chest, below the sternum. The chitta, it's called, the heart center. And it's the source of our positive emotions, but it's also the source of our intuitive decisions, our wisdom. Our wisdom isn't actually in our brain. I mean, that might be part of it. This part of our sorry, I'm probably making a noise with the microphone. Our heart mind is connected, of course, to the rest of the body. So there is an effect, but it's not cognitive thinking. It's not, it's something else. It's something beyond what we can really imagine. And it is actually where we can make our wise decisions. If we're in touch with our body, then we are in touch with our whole being and with the world, in a way. And if we're in touch with our body, we can heal it. If we've got unpleasant feelings, if we've got pain, the worst thing we can do is to push it away and try and ignore it, which is exactly what we try to do normally. But if we turn towards unpleasant sensations, feelings, and pain, we can actually give it solace. We can have a sense of kindness towards it. We can soften it by breathing into it. We can accept it just as it is without fighting it. And what we normally do is we fight unpleasant feelings. We try and get rid of them, and that just makes them worse. So by turning towards our body, turning towards our physical sensations, without thinking about them too much, just being with the sensations themselves, it really helps us to feel whole and settled and good in our lives, or at least not in a state. So that's that's the purpose of this meditation. So I think I've said enough. And so we can start. I'll read a poem just before I begin, but we'll begin first of all by doing the usual of settling into this moment, settling into the current moment, into our bodies, into our experience. So it doesn't matter whether you're lying on a bed, or in bed, or lying on the floor, sitting on a chair, or sitting on a cushion. They're all good. Just make sure that you're comfortable. And just Just getting into your posture, wriggling around if you need to. Just having a sense now of being here right now. Just right here in this moment. Completely present. Noticing the weight of your body on the whatever you're sitting or lying on. And just allowing what you are sitting or lying on to take your weight. Just letting go of having to hold yourself in any way. Not slumping, staying alert, but just letting gravity hold you. Just noticing contact with the floor, either through your feet or if you're lying down, the back of you, contact with the bed maybe. And just noticing what that feels like. Get a lot of feeling when we are in contact with something. If you're in a chair, you might also feel it through your bottom. Well, you will. So just really allowing yourself to fall into those sensations. In a way to become those sensations of contact. Noticing the temperature of the air around you, brushing your skin, and whether it's cool or warm. Any sounds that you can hear, or the sound of silence. And noticing the breathing. Just breathing normally, not making any special effort, but noticing that it just comes and goes of its own free will. Just letting it do that. And if you get a tight feeling in the chest because you're looking at the breath, just home into that with a sense of care and kindness. Just notice it's there and it will moderate. Noticing the chest rising and falling. Shoulders also rising and falling. Rising on the in-breath, falling on the out-breath. And if it's on each out-breath, just relaxing a little bit. Letting go as the shoulders drop. Letting any tension or tightness or cares just drop away, down through the body into the floor. Relaxing a bit more on the next out breath. Just letting go. And we can get really absorbed in this movement of the breath in the body. All the movement, the sensations of the breath in the throat and lungs. Just allow yourself to fall into it. When we do that, we're falling into presence, the present moment. I'm going to read a poem about that. It's called Now, and it's by Julia Fehrenbacher. Without words, we sit in quiet. Stillness wraps around us in its soft, eclectic way. There is no wanting or needing to know what comes next. No questions or place to get. We are not tangled in yesterdays or turning towards tomorrow. There's just us and something that will remain through births and deaths and lifetimes. This is a body awareness meditation, and we're going to begin on the face. We're going to begin on the front of the head, more accurately at the forehead. So just noticing what your forehead's like. Possibly you've got a bit of a frown, or at least you might be holding it quite tightly. So if you are, just allowing any creases in the forehead to just drop away, just to relax. And then the same with the muscles in the face. We have a tendency to hold our faces in a particular way as we, the kind of protection, I suppose, as we move into the world. We don't have to give a good impression right now. We can just let go. So just allowing the muscles in the face and the forehead just to sag. Allowing them to drop. And the skin to relax. The muscles to just be soft. Letting the jaw drop slightly open. And allowing the eyes to be soft behind the eyelids. There, how does that feel? Not making too much effort. Can't force this this investigation of the body. Just noticing what you notice. Not trying to go too far beyond that. Staying open to whatever sensations you can feel, and some more beyond that. So keeping the face relaxed, we're going to move up to the top of the head, the crown. Can you feel anything there? It's quite subtle, but there is a tightness of the skin stretched across the skull. Or you might feel something else. You might feel different things to me. Just exploring this area. As we go through all the body, you might also feel the pulse, the heartbeat, just about anywhere. Quite subtle, but always there. So moving down the back of the head to the nape of the neck. How does that feel? Sometimes you can hold tension at the nape of the neck. There can be an achiness or a tightness. If that's the case this morning with you, not trying to avoid it, just turning towards it with a sense of healing kindness. Just enveloping it in your awareness, in your imagination, if you like. Your aware imagination. As if you're holding any sense of discomfort and giving it love. Breathing into it with gentleness. And the same with the shoulders. Just noticing any tension, any tightness. Maybe just a sense of not being properly relaxed. And just bringing your awareness into the shoulders. And soaking them with loving kindness. Noticing them maybe softening. And we're going to go down the arms now. Going down the upper arms. What can you feel there? Maybe a slight tingling. The elbows. Bony bits are always more difficult, but just seeing what you can find, if anything, in the elbows. Can you notice any feeling? And the lower arms, what can you find there? And the more we do this body awareness exercise, the more we can actually notice new things. So just noticing what you can notice at the moment. And bringing attention to the wrist area. Now, if you really focus in on either of your wrists, just really closely, you might notice your pulse beating away in the inner wrist. Sign of being alive, of the blood circulating, pumping around the body, keeping us healthy. And moving into the hands, what do the hands feel like? The back of the hands. A slightly different feeling for me anyway in the back of the hands to the rest. Bit sharper somehow. And the palm of the hands, can you feel there tingling? Maybe warmth? Maybe a dampness? And the fingers. Loads of activity in the fingers. If you look, lots of tingling. Feels like lots of energy in the fingers, particularly right down at the fingertips. Just allowing yourself to fall into that sense of energy and aliveness in the fingers. And moving back up to the shoulders, just check in that everything's okay there. If there's still tension or tightness, just taking a moment to breathe into it, allowing it to soften. And moving down the back, the upper back, rising and falling with the breath. At the back and at the sides. You notice that feeling. The lower back, how does that feel? And again, if there's any discomfort or achiness, tightness, just giving it your attention in a kind, caring way, allowing it to soften, just being with any sense of discomfort, seeing it as a friend, telling you something about the state of your body. Breathing into any discomfort. We're down to the hips now. You might not be able to feel much here, or maybe you can. Lots of bone. Maybe get a sense of the hips, general sense. We certainly know they're there when they hurt us. Moving around to the bottom, in contact with whatever you're sitting or lying on. Lots of sensations here, but can you feel the sitting bones underneath the padded bit of the bottom? There's one on each side, and they're what stop us collapsing in a heap. And you might be able to feel them quite sharp, sense of sharpness of just in your bum. And of course, these are the bits that hurt if we sit for a long time. And just noticing them. The sitting bones, we call them. And moving down the back of the legs, beginning at the top with the hamstrings, big muscles there, probably quite relaxed. Can you feel anything in them? And the lower leg, the calf muscles, quite a big bundle of muscles again. You might feel some tingling in there. There might even be some discomfort if you maybe something that you have regularly, or it might be through exercise. If there is, just again taking care of it. You can feel the brush of the clothing, any clothing you have, maybe contact with clothing on the calf skin. And moving down to the heel of the foot. What can you feel there? If you're wearing socks, you might feel your socks. Maybe some tingling. And continuing down to the sole of the foot. And here is loads of activity, usually. Just lots of tingling. Very sensitive on the base of our feet. That's why we're so ticklish. There's lots of nerve endings. So there's lots of activity at the nerve endings, lots of tingling, constantly changing. If we really focus into it, we might notice that it's so busy on the soles of our feet. Not trying too hard, just relaxing and noticing what you can notice. You can probably hear my tummy wanting its breakfast. So moving round to the toes now. What can you feel here? These present a bit of a challenge, don't they? Can you feel your big toe? And some people can feel individual toes. Personally, I find that really difficult, but just see if you can. Or if not, just wiggle all your toes. Moving to the top of the foot. What's going on here? Kind of tingling, but perhaps different to the sole of the foot. Different quality to it somehow. Moving up to the ankle. Big bony structure. It hurts like mad if we knock it, but can we feel anything when it's not in pain? Can we feel any pleasant sensations in there? Bit of a challenge. And a similar challenge with the shin bone. Another big bony bit, tendons and muscles around it. You might feel something, clothing touching the skin, or if you've got bare legs, the air on the skin. And the knees. So more bone and gristle in the knees. And you can actually, there is feeling in the knees, but it's quite delicate, quite subtle. So if you can't feel anything, just stay open to maybe noticing it, noticing something. And moving up to the upper leg at the front, the quadriceps. If you're sitting, they'll be slightly stretched. Otherwise, probably very relaxed. You feel anything in there? Moving up to the belly. Place where we get lots of feelings of different kinds. When we get emotional, there are feelings that play out in the body. So if we're excited, we might get a churning. If we're anxious, we get a churning. Probably the same kind of feeling, but we translate it into something different. One feels good, one feels painful. And the abdomen, what's going on in here? Again, can be lots of different colours, weights and shapes of feeling in the abdomen too, depending on our mood. So if we're in a painful place, it's quite useful, in fact it's very useful to come to the sensations in the body that go with this painful state of mind. And just concentrate on the bare sensations themselves without thinking too much about what they are. But if we can concentrate on any pain or discomfort in the body with kindness and love and relax into it, breathe into it, then the state of suffering that we're in will begin to moderate. It's very, very magical. Moving up to the chest. Again, depending on our mental state, this might be relaxed or tight. It might be just feel very comfortable, or it might be very achy. We hold a lot of tension in our chest. So it doesn't really matter what the cause of it is. If we can just be with that sensation in the chest, any unpleasant sensation, with a sense of kindness, allowing it to soften, it will begin to feel better. And if we can feel better in our body, we begin to feel better in our minds as well. We can heal our minds by healing the bare sensations in the body. So bringing our awareness now to the whole of our body, the whole of our being. Sitting here on this Saturday morning, just taking in the whole of your experience. Not trying to change anything, not being pushed around by anything, letting thoughts come and go. Just sitting in your experience. And I'm going to end by reading the poem again. Without words, we sit in quiet. Stillness wraps around us in its soft, electric way. There is no wanting or needing to know what comes next. No questions or place to get. We are not tangled in yesterdays or turning towards tomorrow. There's just us and something that will remain through births and deaths and lifetimes.